All living things are adapted to live in their environment in order to help them survive and live successfully. Swans belong to the class of living creatures called birds, and like all birds they have the following adaptations. Feathers, which enable birds to fly and insulate them. A swan has about 25,000 feathers, and this helps keep them warm, just like us putting our coats on. Yolked, hard-shelled eggs, which help to protect and provide food for the developing chick. Strong, light skeletons with hollow bone. These reduce the weight of the bird, making it easier for them to fly. Mute swans have additional adaptations, which help them live in, on and next to fresh water, lakes, rivers, reservoirs, or saltwater, sea. 3 of their 4 toes are webbed, which enable them to be strong swimmers. Swans are heavy birds, and they use their webbed feet to run on water to gain enough momentum to take off. The feet are also used as brakes when they land on water. The legs are widely spaced towards the back of the body, which enables swans to be effective swimmers. Adult swans will beat the water with their feet to disturb the bottom of the riverbed and provide edible vegetation for the cygnets to eat. Swans often swim with one leg out of the water when they are tired. Swans are heavy birds which need strong wings to help them take off and propel them through the air. As a result, swans have a large breastbone to which these strong wing muscles are attached. Although clumsy when walking on land, a swan is very graceful when flying, with its neck and legs outstretched.
This shows you the insides of a swan, the skeleton of a swan. And there are a few things to notice. Because it's a vertebrate like us, it has the same basic plan of skeleton that we do. And for the wings, which are this bit here, you can see the upper arm here, the middle arm, and if you remember, you've got 2 bones in that too. And then this is a rather reduced set of fingers at the hand. The legs give people a bit of a problem sometimes, because if you just about see it on that, the knee seems to fold backwards and not the direction of ours. But that's actually not true. If you look at the skeleton carefully, you can see this is the upper leg, this bit here, and this is the lower leg, this bit here. And they've got actually an extra section in their leg that we have. This has evolved over time from a set of the smaller bones in the upper part of the foot to make a separate section. So actually the knee does bend in just the same way as ours. Another thing, of course, is which you all remember from your Christmas turkey or whatever, is they have these enormous muscles which they need for flight, because flying is a very expensive and energetic activity, and they're attached to this big keel here on the bottom of the bird. That's where the big muscles lie. Another thing that's different from us is that they have a very light head, and that helps them for flying. They have no teeth and none of the big jaw muscles that we have that go with those teeth. They do all their digestion down this end here in the gizzard, and if any of you have kept chickens, you'll remember that you have to feed them not only food, but grit, because the gizzard is very muscular and it grinds the food up, but it needs the grit to help doing the grinding, and that has an important part of the swan story, which we'll come to later. There's also very little skull between the 2 eyes. They occupy a big bit of the skull on both sides, and you can see perhaps better from here, they look rather sideways. So they get a good view of what's going on around them, but they have a very bad view of what is binocular vision in front of them, and that's probably one of their problems when they come to flying around where there are wires over the river or pylons or something, or even bridges. They don't always see them very clearly until too late. They may see them just at the last minute, but too late to avoid them.
Swans have a preen gland at the base of the tail, which produces a waterproof oil. The swans use their beaks to collect this oil and spread it across their feathers to make them waterproof. Swans have long, flexible necks, which allow them to feed in water up to 1 metre below the surface, and also preen all their feathers. The beak is serrated, rough edges, which enables the swan to break up plants into smaller pieces and to rearrange its feathers when preening. The swan has different types of feathers. The fluffy down feathers are protected by the oily waterproof flight feathers. Flight feathers usually means only the larger feathers associated with flying. The feathers covering the body surface, as opposed to the down feathers beneath them, are called contour feathers. The down feathers, together with a thick layer of fat beneath the skin, provide effective insulation and enable the swan to stay warm when in or on the water. Swans molt their feathers in midsummer. All the flight feathers are molted simultaneously, which means that the birds become flightless for several weeks. The pen and cob will molt at different times to try and ensure one of them is able to fly.
But most of the year they're going along and taking aquatic vegetation, which they can get very easily. They have to eat a lot of it. But the problem for them really is that late winter, or after, say, Christmas time, that dies down, and so they can't very easily get aquatic vegetation to eat, so they have to come out onto the fields and eat grass or somebody's oilseed rape or something that makes them not very popular.